Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. I am so excited to jump on here and share a brief training. Several of you joined me last week in Sold Out Social, have maybe attended a past challenge. And this was one of the things that we didn't really get to touch on last week. We talked a little bit about it when it came up in the VIP room, but I wanted to kind of full circle share with you more about what this looks like in your business, in your kind of growth online. So, as you are jumping in here, turn those cameras on, get ready to take some notes. I would love to see your faces. I'd love to interact with you all when we're on these calls. And we're going to talk through some really pivotal pieces of your content that you need and what actually builds in that sale in your content. Because it's not necessarily when it comes to like selling or making sales every day, what is the first thing that comes to mind? What is the first thing when you're like, I heard Lindsay say this, or I hear her talking about this. What does this that actually mean? Let me know what you feel or what you think when you hear the word like daily sales or making sales every day on social media. Does it feel overwhelming? Does it feel like, oh, I don't think I could do that? I would feel icky. I'd feel spammy. I would maybe not know what to do. Let me know in the chat and then we will get started. So I'm going to talk through the conversion content. That's one of my favorite types of content to do, the when, the why, the how, and what you might be missing. So let us know. Hard and a lot of work from Jenny. Okay. Okay. Let me know what else you are thinking in the chat. Let's see a couple more comments coming in and what you're thinking. I know when I first started out, I was like, that's impossible. Like, what would I even do? Would I have to like get on and sell every day? And the thought process of sales is like, I am the greatest. You need this, buy it now. That's kind of the thought process. That thought process is completely wrong. I'm going to show you a little bit more, but Melissa said, sometimes overwhelmed, but I want to hold authority. Jamie, it is a dream. Yes, yes, I love that. It feels possible in the way you show us. Yes. In a service we are providing and helps me not to feel like I'm bothering people. 100%. Oh yeah, I'd have to be consistent in order for it to happen. That's a good one. That's a good angle. I'm working towards it. It felt hard at first, a little overwhelming, but I'm seeing it is possible. Okay. So we have people at all different areas. And generally, when we think about sales on social media, the thing that seems the hardest, one, is what we feel up here, right? Like okay, in order to do that, what would I have to do? But then the other thing is all of reality. So when you think about it, you have to come up with ideas. You have to create the idea, like bring the ideas to life. You have to get in front of people. What if they don't like it? Like there's a lot of this like back and forth that we experience when we think about making money online. And now you could right now say, I am never using social media to grow my business. Like you absolutely, that's not a possibility. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, people have sold things not using social media. And if and when, I don't know, Amazon, AWS goes down again, or some platform leaves the internet, you might have to go back to that. Would you still believe in your product? Would you still know it will help people? I can almost guarantee it would. And so social media is just the method of delivery. But when you know what you're delivering and who you're delivering it to, the platform you're doing it on, or the method, emails, live events, door to door, on the phone, that actually doesn't matter. It matters less about like where you're selling it, and it matters more about how and why. Why you're doing it, your vision, your purpose, your mission for impact and service, as Jen said, but also what can we say that will attract the right person? Because you could have the best sales script in the world and be in front of the wrong people. You could care a lot and be in front of people who don't care. The goal is that you are really piecing the important parts together in a way that is repeatable. So you have a way, based on what you're doing, to test things and to try things and to see what works. And if you have been using platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, let me know in the chat. Let me know what platform is like your platform of choice. Mine personally is Instagram, but Facebook still very heavily active. YouTube, incredible conversion rates. TikTok as well, great for sales. So there's still so much possibility out there that we haven't even tapped into. If you're using one platform, there's probably 5 others that you could learn and grow on, maybe faster, maybe shorter. I actually grew faster on TikTok than I did on Instagram, but my content is performing better on YouTube than it is on Instagram. And I have 200,000 followers on Instagram. So just know, like, there's so much nuance when it comes to using social media. But when I first started selling online, I thought I had to show up every day, multiple times a day, do all the things, tell my entire life story on Instagram. And I felt like I was everywhere and working a full-time job. So I was like, I want to grow here, but I also need to pay my bills. So it was this delicate balance. And you could see some engagement, but if you're not seeing consistent like outcomes, effort from the effort you're doing, like sales, then what we're going to dive into is going to really help you understand a more complete package. And I'm going to show you exactly what's missing. So grab a notepad, put stuff in the chat, like we can have an open dialogue and conversation. But I really want you to feel like I might be overdoing it when it comes to my thoughts on social media. Jenny said, that's exactly how I feel, working on my one-on-one while trying to build a separate one-to-many business. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And yeah, it really is like, how do you juggle all of the things? But what my clients know is that you can show up and do 3 things every day, and you'll learn a little bit, you'll get more traction. But what I want you to see is that it's not the 30 things, it's the 3 things you do repeatedly. And it's very similar to like high performing habits and showing up consistently, doing the same things over and over again and learning from it. And you get better no matter if it's day 1 or day 101. You're going to be in a different spot regardless because you took that action. Now, I talked a little bit about when I first started selling online. I was a military spouse. I lived overseas and I started a photography business. I started, I was doing CrossFit classes. I started workout groups, nutrition. I mean, I've sold everything on the internet. And one thing remained clear was that if you were going to make money using social media, you had to actually tell people how to buy from you. Just merely existing, just showing up with your hair done, making good content wouldn't tell someone they need to click or they need to work with me. And so I started to realize the content that was performing versus not, when it was working maybe slightly less. And I sat there while I had a newborn baby, James, my youngest, who's now 13, brand new baby. I was using social media at the time to just kind of like get in front of people, book people into my photography business. I like left fitness behind after that point, but I sat there and looked at my content and I realized it was all attraction, no conversion. And what did I need to do to make that happen? So I started to dig in, and you might find that like people are like, I love what you said there. That was so relatable. And they loved what I was posting because I had a baby, I had a camera, I knew what to do with it, but they weren't actually booking me. They weren't buying from me. And when I created this system that I'm going to teach you through, it literally could be used on any business, on any platform, because it's psychology. And the techniques that you use are based on the platform, but the actual like purpose of the content doesn't change. So I'm actually gonna take you over here for a second. Lighting kind of changed, but that's okay. And what I want to show you are the three types. So there's three types of content. We're gonna make this a little prettier here. Let's see. One, two, three. So we have three types of content in regards to any type of content that you're doing, social media, marketing in general, outreach, that type of thing. Now we have first, which is going to be to get the eyes on your account. So how do we get more eyes on our account? We do attraction content. Next would be, what if people have already found us? People find us, they're like, okay, I recognize who that person is. We want to nurture them. So how do we nurture them? We do that with engagement. Engagement content. So we have attraction, we have engagement, and then this is the one that most people forget or just choose not to do. So the last one is really the money-making activity of conversion. Okay, attraction, engagement, conversion. This one right here, very wide audience. This one, a little more narrow and even more narrow. So if we were thinking about this as in like percentages for like where this would fall in your content, I couldn't tell you one percentage because Ashley's goal might be different than Christy's goal. Terry's goal might be different than Stacy's goal. Stacy, if you are in like, you're like, I don't have any followers. I have no one to buy for me. No one is actually like pulling the trigger. I would ask you like 5 questions. And one of those would probably tell me which of these needed to be your focus. And so generally what I always say is like, it can change. You can be in a growth phase. I know Blakely's on here. She's going to go into a growth phase in November where she's focused on attraction. But come the new year, she's going to really be focused on converting people. So she's going to transition into engagement and conversion. For 2 years, I grew my account in attraction for about 90% of the time, conversion for 10. Because I wanted to grow as fast as humanly possible. I wanted to know I knew what I was talking about. And that work helped probably 1,500 other people go viral, build massive accounts, and grow. That was what my purpose was. Now, I didn't make any money. I made $1,500. So I then had to say, okay, how do I make this work for me better? So that's where the work that I do now comes into play. So I want you to see that it's more than just one thing, but it can evolve. You can decide, which is really cool. You get to decide what direction your content takes. And most of the work that I do with my clients is over here because we all want to pay our bills. We all want to make money. We all want to grow. But sometimes we do have to focus over here. And that's okay. It's okay to want to go viral and grow. But you have to know also, sales don't generally come with that virality. And I shared a post this morning about the difference that I had to see with virality versus not. And there are slight overlaps that occur, but primarily they're in 3 separate categories. And so this attraction content really is how you get discovered. Your reels, relatable stories, trends. This gets the eyes on you, but visibility without a structure is like going super fast and having no idea where you're going. It's as simple as that. There's no direction. You're moving fast, you're moving, but you don't know the end goal, and neither does your follower. I mean, think of the people that we follow online. You don't remember them a week later. But when your followers or when you have this type of content in your feed, you're going to remind them that you exist. So it works very in sync with one another. Now, this nurture content, it builds trust, which ultimately is what is necessary to make sales. Without trust, people don't buy. I don't care who you are, what you're buying, where you're buying it from. You want to trust the other person has your best interests, understands your needs, your goals, where you're going, and you're going to want to have that trust in place. This right here, for most people, most of my clients, is 2 days a week. This is 2 days a week, and that's the rest of the days. So again, there's variables in place. And this is where you show proof. You might teach things. You might give some like insights or like your opinions on certain topics. But nurturing people alone will not generate sales. Like it will just get you to have raving fans. You'll be liked, but still probably won't make consistent sales. And this piece of content, think of this as like the anchor. This is what holds down your business and the results that you want from it. And it's a funny thing because most people want sales, but don't want to sell. Want to have clients, but are afraid to talk about what they do. And it's like a juxtaposition, I guess is the right word for it, of like, I want this, but I don't want to I want to lose 50 pounds, but I don't want to work out every day. I want to travel the world, but I don't really want to save money. It's just one of those weird things in life that we have as humans. We want the thing, but we don't want to do the work to get there, which is fine unless you see an easier path. So it's like you you have your spouse and you talk about saving money for this trip you want to take. My husband and I, our 20th anniversary is coming up. So I'm like, traveling overseas is like on my brain for next year, but I know I have to do things differently in order to make that trip possible. Same thing with sales on social media. We have to do things differently and get other people involved. Maybe have a professional. I have a financial advisor that helps me make sure I can take a trip, but you want to make sure you're getting those things in place so that it's not just you on an island saying, this is hard, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. But this is also, like I said before, the thing that most people skip because it feels scary. It's an internal thought. It's fear of the unknown, fear of rejection. And it is the post that actually moves someone from interest to investment. They find you, they're attracted, they're interested, they're investing. They work together. You can't just simply have one. 5 million views, $0, right? Very few views, 5 views, could be lots of dollars. I have conversion content carousels, mind you, that have made $23,000 because they were conversion, but they were sent to the people I had already attracted. That's what carousels do on your feed. And I want to show you kind of like how this works. So there's a 3-part framework that you can put into place for your conversion content. So I want you to write down 1, 2, 3, just like in a row, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna get rid of this terrible green marker I will never use again. But this 3-part framework can help you kind of create more of that content. Okay, so the very first part of this content is going to be the first P. So the first P is proof. So proof, which could be your story, a client's result. So what type of proof could you share? Drop it in the chat. What type of proof comes to mind that you have? Could be reviews, it could be meetings that you're having, what type of proof of your story or a customer, a client, um, someone that you've worked with, a consulting job that you did, client testimonials, yes. DMs from happy customers, exactly. Personal wins or team, if you're not there, yeah, absolutely. So the very first thing when we're like, oh, what do I have to create? It's proof. And I will tell for some of you, um, simply before and afters, 'cause I know I have a lot of wellness people, aren't cutting it anymore. Okay, it's 2025. We got to change our strategy. Before and afters need to have context, and they need to have more of a long-term transformation focus. So this is exactly the first type of content. You should be doing proof content every week. Every week, whether it's in an email, a story, or on your feed, every single week you should be doing this first type. Okay. Now, the second two are equally as important, but might be a little bit more of a challenge or stretch you to do. So how many of you just type a yes in the chat if you feel like you're going to commit to doing like some proof? And again, it looks different for a lot of people. You have a story, your clients have a story, and your business has a story. Those are three types of proof. Okay, perfect. All right, so everyone's going to do that. The second one, it's going to take a little bit more thought, but it is perspective. So perspective is the belief shift you need to do in your audience. So I want you to think about your audience. Why haven't they joined you? Why haven't they gotten results? Why don't they believe it's possible? Ask yourself these questions. Make yourself a list. There are things that they believe that you have never addressed. Your perspective on their journey needs to be something you talk about. So I don't know if she's in here. We just were on one of my mastermind calls, and Christine was sharing a video that we were like auditing about GLP-1s. And she has a perspective on the way someone can come back after they get off a GLP-1, can adapt or adjust. And that is her perspective. She has a perspective on the type of belief that someone has about taking GLP-1s. Sharing that not only puts you in that authority stance, but it also is going to give someone this aha moment. They're like, oh, never thought of that. That's an interesting take. Maybe I can shift the way I think about things. So we want to really address the beliefs they have, but also show them there's a possibility of something different. So any ideas come to mind, drop those in the chat. If you have like a stance or a belief that your audience has, is there a belief that you think right off the bat, that's why they're not getting results, or that's why they haven't taken the next step? A belief isn't, it's too expensive. That's an objection. So that belief they have really is about that next, this like, they're looking at something ahead of them and they're like, I don't think that's possible because I've tried everything and nothing has worked. Yeah, that's a great belief that you can address. Staying in a comfort zone. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in your field, Melissa. That comfort zone where it's like, I don't think I could do that. I love water, but I don't think I can do that. I drink water every day. I don't think I can do that. Some of you I know so well. The school is going to tell me why my child is struggling to read. Yeah. Yeah. So why do I need your help? Why do I need someone else, an expert's opinion? Well, Sheila, no, I'm just kidding. But that's a really important piece. And you have such an opportunity, Jenny, because we hold our doctors and our educators at a high standard, but sometimes they don't have the bandwidth to serve us on individual like aspects. Like doctors they're not going to tell us all, they're not going to know all of the nutrition things. Teachers aren't going to be able to like get down to that level where we as parents know and believe something is happening. So yeah, it's, you have such a good way of sharing your perspective. The third, okay, we're getting harder here, is the path. So this is what they need to do next. What they need to do next. They've engaged in your content. They found you. They're like, oh, that was so helpful. So great. Thank you. What do they need to do next? If you can't wait to curl up at the end of the day, I'm going to use you, Ashley, because I'm looking at you, with a book that is going to take you into a whole other world where you can escape the stress from your work day, you need this thing. You need to buy this bundle. That's going to be amazing for the cold season, for the fall weather. Tell them what's next. Tell them the path that they need to take. This right here is the one that most people would say they are the worst at. They don't know how to do this. If you feel like you do this a lot or a little, drop it in the chat. Do you tell your audience, this is part of your conversion framework, what to do next? If you want this result, you need this. In my program, we do this. When we work together, you'll get this result. Let me know if you do it a lot, a little. Do you tell people what to do next? Which means this one takes them to your product. This one takes them to like I would say you're the guide in that journey. This one shows what's possible if they work with you. Like you are the reason that's possible. You are the reason you have that perspective. You created a product that helps them. Okay, a little. Yeah, okay. I'm assuming everyone else has the no, has a not ever. Yes, but still trying to master delivery when in person. Yeah, absolutely. It depends on who you are. Some of us deliver these really well in person, while others deliver them really well online. It's a dance for sure. And I want you to think about this like dating. Okay, I haven't dated in 20 years, 21 years, but visibility gets you noticed, right? So gets you in front of ideal candidates for who you could spend your life with. Nurturing, that engagement content is like the second date. You're like, all right, like this person's didn't slam the door in my face. They showed up on time. They answered my texts. And then conversion is commitment to the long-term outcome. It doesn't happen overnight. For my husband and I, it happened in 8 months. Okay. For my parents, it happened in 5. So, we're just, we don't like to date for very long, but that's my approach on social media. It shouldn't be this long drawn out process. Melissa says, I think a lot. Usually my last story slide or in my caption, message me X. Yeah, that's great. Those are great places. In your caption though, I'll just say, because you put it in there, Melissa, never have them message you just because most people won't. Always have them comment. I feel like I need to refine my delivery. Okay, yes, Stacy. So that really is the gap that most people are missing, because it either like doesn't feel like it flows, or it's in the wrong spot, or we're just making it too hard or complicated for someone to actually like bridge the gap. And these are generally in your feed twice a week. One of these, you could do them 3 times a week if you wanted to, but you could even pick 2 in your stories 5 times a week. Like you could talk about these every day. This is generally my approach, is kind of having at least one of these in my stories every day, because that's where people are making their buying decisions. Yes, Trevor, exactly. Comment blank, and then it will trigger your ManyChat. Because the thing about interest on social media, and I am like very much I'm not a commenter. I'm not a liker, a commenter, or a sharer, unless it's like a funny meme. I am like a silent watcher. I'm one of the lurkers that you think about. I only interact through Instagram stories or through your link because I just don't comment on things. It's just not the way that I use things. But without the ManyChat, we forget. You forget that you did anything with it. So if you have ManyChat in place, you as a person don't have to be in your DMs. It will just simply trigger it. I feel like Instagram has tagged the word comment and limits it. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. And even putting, yeah, drop below, or even just putting it on screen, comment it versus in your caption. You have to just test what works best with Instagram. But even more so, having ManyChats that convert better is an even more important piece to like pay attention to, because that is like an extension of these posts. What you do after they're interested or after they click is most important. So I want you, like, as you like leave today's conversation, just write this down. Look at your last 10 posts and tag them, like, or like save them. I know for me, I save like all of my viral posts, my conversion posts, like I just save them for future because I'm crazy like that. But look at your last 10 posts. Are they attraction? Did they like get eyeballs on your content? Are they engagement? Were they like more of that nurture content? Or were they conversion? Was there one that you did more or versus the other? Just right off the bat, do you have a sense of what you do more of versus another? Just, and there's no wrong answer, to be honest, because everyone's content goals are different. But in the drop in the chat, is there one that you find yourself doing more than not? Let me know. Let's try the chat. Are you doing more engagement? Are you doing more attraction? Do you not know? That's okay too. If you're like, I have no idea, I'm just living on the internet. I wish I knew. Okay, Vanessa said attraction. Yeah, definitely. Definitely attraction. Try to rotate. Okay, between reach and engagement. So would proof equal engagement perspective? So these are all conversion types. These are all conversion. All conversion. A little bit of all. Yep. Engagement and conversion. Okay, yes. Yep. And so like Jen put a little bit of all because she needs to do some growing. Christy has a bit of an audience, so she can focus more on converting her current audience. It's very much like inhale and exhale. Like you kind of like take it as it comes. You can change your strategy different times of the year. In the summer, I actually go more into attraction mode. In at the holidays, I go into more attraction mode because depending on a launch or a bigger season for you, my bigger season is in like January, February, and March. So that's where I go into attraction mode when I'm not necessarily in a heavy conversion mode. If that makes sense, just put a yes into the chat. How you can really change your strategy based on your business. And it's okay to test things and to try new things. What's important is that you learn from it and you do things differently or better. And if you're heavy on visibility and nurture, that might be why your sales are inconsistent. And if you don't have like your content, like if you're like, okay, I don't really feel like it's my content, like then we need to figure out, go deeper into like why isn't it converting? Because you have visibility, no sales. If you have conversion and no sales, then it's your messaging. It could be your product, but most of the time it's your messaging, or you likely have attracted the wrong audience. What would be, just drop in the chat, the reason you feel you aren't seeing sales? Like even just not daily sales, but just sales in general from your content. Do you know? Put that in the chat. Let me know why. Is it audience? Is it the content isn't good enough? You're not like selling. You're not actively asking. Consistency. Okay. Okay. Inconsistency, messaging. Yeah. Figuring that out. Yeah. Leads and DM process. So would that be not qualified enough leads? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that would be your messaging, Melissa. Messaging. I need to do more videos, talking. Yeah, yeah. We just went through that in the mastermind, actually. How to do talk to camera. Talk to camera is an incredible nurturing conversion strategy. It kind of covers all three, to be honest. Trevor, I don't think I've done enough perspective content. Okay, yeah. This right here, this is some of my favorite content, perspective, because it's very much, I call it my like call out, call in people. Yeah, I'm here to figure out why. Okay, I love that, Stacy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's likely the engagement and conversion content. I'd probably say making that shift. Okay, think I need to work more on what I am about. Yeah, maybe a little trust and messaging. Yeah. Yeah, that engagement content is your trust building. And all of this, of course, builds trust in some layer, but you want to really have that trust built by the time you ask for the sale. My current clients and warm leads are such a huge range of people. I have a tendency to go back to talking to everyone instead of my ideal client. That is so good, Jen. Yes. I'm sure everyone on here could be like, I've done a little bit of that. Like I've tried to capture a lot of it. Yeah, Melissa's like, yes, me. Building trust. I've been the man behind the machine and only just started showing my face. Very, very helpful, Jenny. Yeah. There's that right there. You just showing your face. How many of you have seen like faceless content? There's like this huge trend on faceless. I don't pay any attention to people who do faceless content. It like doesn't, there's zero trust there. I have zero interest in anything you're doing other than it just looking good on the internet. Faceless content just tells me, I hope I'm not offending anyone, that you're just a lazy content creator. Like you just don't want to show who you are, which is fine for privacy. But if it's for like just to make money behind the scenes, I just feel like that's not my type of creator. I want to find people that truly are here, that want to make that personal connection and interaction, no matter what you sell. Trust is so huge, Jenny, especially in showing your face. Trevor said, I've been doing faceless B-roll, and that's fine to do B-roll that way. And the attraction brings in followers consistently, and they get the free PDF, but then disappear. Okay, that's super helpful. One, we need to diagnose what your ManyChat is actually saying and doing, product flow is looking like. And I would probably say there's some, like if you have a pretty good steady flow on the front end or top of funnel, that engagement and conversion content is going to like crush so much faster for you. So I love that you shared that. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. No faces content. Yeah. Yeah. I just love seeing I'm on social media to be social, right? So important. It's so valuable when you can connect with someone that you're actually giving money to, right? Like you're exchanging something, whether that's information on a lead magnet, whether it is time and attention on their account, or actual money is changing hands. So look at your content. Let me like, feel free to jump in my DMs and let me know like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm not doing. Or can you look at what I'm not doing? And when you realize, okay, I have this gap in my content, most likely it's a conversion gap from what we see in the content and the chat as well. Your content actually, when we fix it, becomes a more robust sales system. So when I say, you can make more daily sales. It's not because I'm out here like selling something every day. It's because you have content that works for you when you're not posting or you're not online. Because what we know now, so the algorithm changed 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys know this, like on the 12th or the 14th. Now so prior to then, this is very much the TikTok algorithm that we're moving towards, which is normal for Instagram. But what we saw was in the first 24 to 72 hours, your content would perform. Now, 2 weeks later, what you'll start to see is your content maybe not performing as much early on, but it's having a longer lifespan. And I can tell you this from experience and using TikTok. I mean, YouTube, that's another great comparison. I have content that still crushes on TikTok from 2020. Okay, 2020. I still have content that does well from 6 months ago. I hope the algorithm is moving more and more towards that, because it's like having, now with SEO and Google and all the things, it is now like having a livable piece of a living piece of content online. Whereas before it would just die, would never be found anywhere, and it would be in like the archives of your content. You now have such a better opportunity to create longer experiences with one piece of content. If you're having better captions, if you're having early engagement or later engagement, you're still going to be able to see so much more come from one piece of content. I could see people transitioning to better, less content. So less but better content. Less posts, better content, because the lifespan is going to be so much greater than what it is right now. We used to have to post 5 to 7 times on Instagram. Now, most people just post 1 to 2 times. I could see that even decreasing just with the way the algorithm is serving content. So, so important. This is ultimately, where you need to rise to the occasion and say, okay, if I were to only post 3 times, let's make it worth it. We know the 3 types. So even just starting there would be a start. That's where some of my clients, they'll just start with the 3 posts per day when they're just getting started, because you see your gaps, you fix them, you create a better system for your content. And no matter what, you're able to stop guessing. Like, you're no longer being like, what do I do? What is happening? You now have something to learn from. You start repeating, and your business feels more predictable. You're like, okay, I got a result or I didn't get a result. What would I do more of? The one you got a result from. And you just further leaning in on that like edge of all the things that you want to do. But right now you're kind of like, I have no idea. I'm just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? That's how it feels. You're like just seeing what sticks. And truthfully, like, no matter what you do or how you work with me, or if you're on these trainings or in social media, that's what we do. Like, we essentially look at your business, install what like a custom trust-based sales system would look like, so that your content, your offers, and what you do on a daily basis all align. So it's not just, here's some posts, post them. It's how does it connect to what you sell? That's the first step. How does what you sell dictate what you do and what your goals are and what your actions are? It's all connected. That's what I call business. But most people are thinking just in content, or just in sales, or just in, I don't know, what I have to do today. It is one fluid system that works together to build trust and convert. Now, if you are listening to anything that I'm saying right now and like nodding your head like, yes, I mean, this can be a reality for you. You can map this out for your business. This is what I'm doing, my clients are doing, I mean, for the rest of the year, October, November, December, focusing on those things. So what I wanted to do for you all, because you've either worked with me in a capacity or been on social media following me, I wanted to open up a handful of strategy calls. So these are like strategy calls. If you're like, how could we either work together, build out your plan, and whether you're starting out with the basics or you want to scale a full system, this would be the perfect call for you to jump onto. So this is a sales strategy call. How are we going to build that out based on your goals? So on this call, we're going to look at your current offers and what you're currently doing. We'll look to find some gaps, or if you have them, say like, this is the thing I can't figure out. And then we're going to look at what that 90-day plan could look like for you. What does it look like to be in 2026? How are you going to get there? What is it going to require? And so after that call, if we both feel like it's a good fit, then we can show you what it looks like to work together, whether that's in a 90-minute session or social powered sales, whatever that looks like for you, in whatever level that makes sense. So we're going to drop into the chat. We'll drop in that link. If you want to book one of those sessions, they're completely free. It really is, one, helpful for us to kind of hear where you're at and where you want to go. That helps us learn you and your business better, but also you can get feedback and hear a little bit more about what is possible. Sometimes it's just the unknown where you're saying, I don't even know what I don't know. I just love what I do. How do I get more people to find it? So some of you might start in a framework or in a mastermind or one-on-one. We have things for various levels, but as we go into the new year, this is the time that is so important for your business to lay a foundation, whether it's just in your content or whether it's in your actual business model, structure, and revenue. We can both work in both spaces. So we're going to drop into the chat. I think Julie dropped it in there. You can click on that link. You'll see a quick video just for me talking a little bit more about how the call works. But make sure that if you do see spots open there, you can go back and watch the video. Book one of those sessions while we're on here together so that you can get those in. We will close those down tomorrow once the replay's gone out and people have been able to see this, but these calls will fill up fast. There's only so many hours in the day. So we want to make sure that we keep them personal so you can grab one while they're open and we can help you work through what that looks like for you as you go into November, Black Friday, the holiday season, the New Year launches. We want to help you build your 2026 plan now. Not when the year's already started, not when you already feel like you're behind, because I want you to feel like you are posting with intention, you're getting attention, and you're also helping convert. So this call will be with Britt. She's on here. She's our success advisor, so she can walk you through what that looks like for you based on where you want to go in your business. And we'll get you in over the next couple of days, chat through what you are looking to do. And we will follow up with the next steps and any of the things that we discuss on those calls. So biggest thing I want this next season to be for you is less of like all the things that you're not doing and more of what you can be doing in less time. That's really what using social media needs to be. It needs to be a piece of your business, not the only part that you're spending in your business as far as your time is concerned. So we can jump into any questions that you have on the content, the topic. I have about 10, 15 minutes. If you wanted to ask a question, feel free to drop a 1 into the chat and we can get your questions answered. I think, Jamie, you had asked a question before about reusing reels. So I generally, when I have content that is performing well, I will reuse it in a few different ways, but you could reuse the same reel topic every week. The same reel I would probably do every 2 weeks. And that really is depending on what it did for you. So if it grew your audience, every week put that in your feed. So good. Yeah.
So you're saying I can use the actual reel every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would remake it. You could use the same video, text, caption, but actually remake the content.
Okay.
Yeah, like re-edit it or put text on screen.
Okay.
Melissa, yeah, let's hear your question.
Hey there. Thanks for
Hi.
having me. I just have a quick question. As far as I have like my pillars and have my content laid out kind of how you explained it as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't really suggest like the AI type stuff and like ChatGPT and stuff, but do you suggest almost like putting my pillars, putting my business, putting everything like that into there and then have it populate a calendar for me where I'm able to do like the posts and stories, but have it rotate between like the attraction, engagement, and conversion?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So you could use, I always recommend, we use AI a lot, but I use it as like a middleman because of what I don't want it to do is tell you what to say. I want you to tell it what you would say and it helps you structure it. So
perfect.
having it build the content plan would be perfect for you. And then you just have to kind of like gauge the results.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, Janelle, if you want to drop the link into the chat, we can take a look at it if you're still on. I saw that come through my latest reel. Yeah, I was just actually, I have to do a video on this. I was telling my mastermind ladies what I did in my most recent reels that literally doubled leads. It was pretty crazy. Super small tweaks just from paying attention can go a long way. So let's actually audit your reel really quick. Julie, if you want to open up and we'll do this and then we'll wrap. And you all, while you're on here, make sure to book one of those calls and we'll get everything moving forward. Okay, I'm gonna hit.
No wonder clients aren't committed.
We're gonna have to start it over, but we'll just play it through.
Commenting your brand isn't giving this is the one vibes. That's why I created the 10-minute brand of one makeover. 3 fast fixes to help you stop blending in and start becoming remembered. Just comment makeover and you will spend 10 minutes or less. Zero fluff, transformation, just results, no excuses. I haven't been on a first date in over 21 years. Thank you, Jesus. But I do know you wouldn't show up wearing your high school jeans, right? Yet that's exactly what most brands are doing, showing up in visuals and messaging that doesn't fit who they've become today. No wonder clients aren't committing, commenting your brand isn't giving this is the one vibes. That's why I created the 10-minute brand of one makeover.
Okay, so let me jump back on here. I was typing out my feedback while we were going through it. So it's long, and I would put music probably on a 3 below it. I don't know if there was, but it was kind of like just, it fell flat in the delivery, but I know you're getting better at it. So constructive criticism, constructive feedback. Biggest thing, I loved the hook and the follow-up. You like the jeans follow-up. And I liked it until you transitioned to the offer. Because then it kind of like I could feel a little of your confidence kind of go down. I would have almost kept it. I haven't been on a date in over 20 years. Thank you, Jesus. But if I was dating in 2025, I definitely wouldn't show up in whatever you said about the jeans, and your brand shouldn't either. I'm trying to think of what you just said because it was good. Oh, showing up as like the one, like with the vibes and all of that, I would probably remove that. And you could even just say like, that is why you need a brand of one. Comment something below and I'll show you exactly how to XYZ about your brand, like stand out or attract or increase that engagement that you're looking for. Yeah, no worries, Janelle. So that, I mean, and I would probably say use a different color for the font because on your phone, it's going to be really bright and hard to read. But that, my friends, is exactly what I love to do is audit your content because small little tweaks, small things, moving things from the end to the beginning, hooks on screen can make a world of difference. So, so important. My most viral content was I was in it. If I look at like all the similarities, I was in it. I had a controversial like hook or opening, similar to like the thank God I haven't had to date, but if I was in 2025 or if I was looking to actually lose weight in 2025 type of thing. And had some sort of music in it, a pretty decent caption, but it was like, it was easy to watch, easy to transition through. You could easily read it. And moving towards 2026, if someone can screenshot it, if they can like quickly interact with it, quickly get a next step, that's what you want in it. So yes, so we will send this replay out. Cannot wait to see where you take your content. That conversion content, just think of that as one of the most important pieces that you cannot skip. Conversion content, there is a whole strategy that you can implement with conversion content based on what you do. We build that out in our quarterly marketing plans so that you really have that focus where you're not selling every day, but you can still make sales. There's quite a lot that you can do without having to show up all the time, to be in your DMs all the time, but still have those results populating because you've built enough trust. Super, super important. Trevor, I'm a fan of the triple hook. So I will leave you at that. Have a wonderful day. My DMs are open if you have questions. If you missed the link, we'll send out the link to book your information call so you can hear more about where your business could go next year, whether it's us supporting you or you just having a plan. I cannot wait for you to bring your business into what social media has to offer in the new year. Things are changing, and so we have to change with it. And I'm excited to guide you through that process. So have a wonderful rest of your day. We will see you all soon. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime.